Hi, I, 28 female, am being called an idiot by my father-in-law, David, 52 male, and I want to know if I'm really in the wrong. I'll be honest here and straight up tell you guys that I don't think I am in the wrong. But it always helps to get a neutral opinion from someone else, so I would really appreciate it if you guys could help me out. So recently, David had approached me and my husband, Eric, 31 male, and asked us to give him $30,000 for urgent home repairs. I know that $30,000 is a lot, but my husband and I agreed to give him the money. David doesn't have much money of his own and just recently got married. His wife, Kate, 48 female, is a working woman but doesn't really earn a whole lot of money. The two of them got married last month, so we figured that they were low on cash and couldn't make those urgent repairs. My husband and I are good with money, so we could spare $30,000 for an emergency. David, of course, said that the money was a loan and he would pay it back. Well, we knew that he would never fully pay it back, but we still decided to help him out. Frankly, we were glad that David was finally listening to us and getting his house repaired. We had offered him help to make him do it because his house wasn't in the greatest condition last time we saw it. So we thought that David was finally doing the responsible thing for once and spending money on stuff that he actually requires. We never really asked him for a rundown of how things were progressing. He did give us a vague cost breakdown of the repairs, so we thought that $30,000 would easily cover everything. Eric is really busy with work, which is why I end up working and taking over the majority of the house chores, so I didn't have a lot of free time to check up on how David was spending the $30,000. Well, one day I did and found out that David was not using the money on house repairs. I looked up credit card receipts and found out that instead of making home repairs, David was using the money to book himself and his wife a luxury vacation to another country. Yup. You read that right. It gets worse, though. He had also invited and booked everything for Kate's 2 adult children. So he was basically going to take his new family on a luxury vacation, and that too on our dime. Now look, before any of you guys accuse me of being jealous of Kate and her children, let me tell you that I am not. David can splurge on his new family as much as he wants to. We just didn't want him to do it using our money. The man literally never bought a thing for house repairs. He spent nearly all of it on booking stuff. I suspect that the leftover money was supposed to help pay for food and transport there. I can't say for sure. What I can say is that I was beyond furious when I saw that he had been lying to us about why he needed the money. We were never even told that they were planning to take a trip anywhere. David had planned to just quietly leave and not let us know anything. The man also kept sending Eric progress messages from time to time. He kept following up on his lies so that we wouldn't find out. We, of course, didn't cross-check stuff until it was too late. I found out literally on the day they were supposed to leave. I was so mad at everything that I decided to go ahead and cancel all their bookings. I had access to the card, so I ended up calling the travel company and telling them that the booking had been through the wrong card, so we would like to cancel it. We had to go back and forth a little, but eventually he agreed. We also ended up blocking the card from the bank. While all this was happening, David was blowing up my phone. The travel company had informed him that they would cancel all the bookings and ban him from booking with them again. David had called me and texted me. He was trying to convince me not to cancel anything and give him some time to deal with this. I ignored his messages and just did what I thought was right. I didn't respond to David other than to tell him that Eric and I were super disappointed in him for lying to us, and he should be ashamed of himself for how he had manipulated us into funding a luxury vacation for his new family. We didn't really hear back from David until after that day. He called Eric and me and berated us for what I did. He said that it was rude and cruel of me to leave him stranded in another country. According to him, I should be ashamed of myself because I had acted vindictively when I could have avoided all this drama. David thinks I should have just waited till he came back and then confronted him. His wife and her kids now think that he is a joke and a loser because he couldn't afford to take them on the vacation he had promised. He feels humiliated and thinks that I have been unnecessarily cruel. Now he is demanding an apology from me for ruining his plans and making him look like a fool. My husband and I, of course, don't think we did anything wrong. David has often taken advantage of us financially, so we have been tired of being his cash cow. I admit that the cancellations were done out of spite and anger, but I still think he deserves it. David, of course, thinks differently. I admit that I made a rash decision, but my blood was boiling, and I didn't think it would be fair for David to enjoy a luxury vacation with his new family on our hard-earned money. David doesn't see things that way. He is blaming us for making him lie because he knew we wouldn't lend him money for a vacation. Of course, we wouldn't, because a vacation is not a necessity for a man who doesn't have more than a few $100s to his name. I am not running a charity anyway, but again, David thinks he is the victim here and he deserves an apology. So, AITA, edit. I would like to answer and address a few things that keep cropping up in the comments. I will make an update later, but I thought about making an edit because some of you told me that you require some extra context to make a judgment. So I was able to cancel the reservations because they were made with my husband's credit card, and I was able to do that because we have combined finances. So technically, money on my husband's credit is also my money. I didn't go behind my husband's back or anything. He knew that I was going to do this and even helped when it was necessary. To be honest, he was way more pissed off than I was at his father's actions. David has a problem with spending money that doesn't belong to him, so this isn't new. That's why my husband has been rather strict in helping him financially. David's argument about his lies was that Eric wouldn't give him money if he told him the truth. That's why he had to lie and say that his house was falling apart. I have to say here that we believed those lies because his house is indeed not in great condition. We don't visit him as much, but the last time we did, we could tell that the house needed remodeling. Again, like I said, David isn't good with money, so he never really made any repairs on the house. Eric and I had been telling him that he needed to set aside money and make those repairs. So when he finally said that he wanted to follow our advice, we agreed to help him. In a way, helping him would ensure that he and his family don't end up living with us after his house fell apart. Yes, we had been thinking about ourselves too, which is why we decided to give him the money. It was supposed to be a loan, but knowing David, we knew that the chances of us getting the money back in full was slim. My husband and I do make good money, but we are not rich enough to throw $30,000 down the drain. It's been ages since we have taken a vacation, so David's actions have been particularly offensive to us. This is not the first time David has taken money from us and spent it on stupid stuff. Letting him get away with this nonsense is not something my husband and I were willing to do. Some of you are saying that I should have waited for him to come back and then confronted him. Well, what do you think would have happened if we had done that? David would have apologized, promised to pay us back, and then gone about his merry way. We wouldn't have seen the money back in our accounts. We have done this song and dance before, so we know what the outcome would be. Canceling everything, getting back at least part of the money was the best course of action. Also, we didn't really leave them stranded per se. David had enough money to book tickets back home. His wife works as well, so it's not like she has no money of her own. He's just mad that he has to fly back and explain to his wife why the vacation couldn't be completed. David is just mad that we humiliated him. I really don't care about his humiliation or anything, but I do think that maybe I could have called him and given him a warning before doing what I did. Update 1. So the general consensus on my post was that I was NTA. Some of you have been mad at me for knowingly lending money to someone who has a history of being financially irresponsible. A few even told me that I deserve this for being such a stupid doormat. I am offended by those comments, but I will accept that judgment anyway. Yes, we probably shouldn't have given David the money, but as I have explained in the edit, part of it was for our own good. We didn't want David and his family under our roof under any circumstances. Also, we didn't think that spending money on David's house repairs would be a total loss, because the house is supposed to be my husband's inheritance. That clearly was a miscalculation and wishful thinking. David would probably leave the house to his wife and stepkids just to show them how cool and generous he is to them. What a waste. Anyway, thankfully, we only lost money on the flights. We didn't exactly lose all of the $30,000, which is a blessing. We also canceled the credit card because we didn't trust David to use it as he wished. I'm not sure how he managed to fly back home, but he did. Also, he was stranded in Mexico and not on a different continent altogether. Now, that would have been extremely problematic for him. He had just landed in Cancun and tried checking into a hotel when he realized that I had canceled everything. Oh boy, was he mad when he found out that it was all my and my husband's doing. Again, my husband was well aware of what I was going to do. He would have done the cancellation himself if he had the time and energy for it. For the past year, he has been working on a huge project that is absolutely draining him physically and mentally. You can only imagine how he felt when he realized that his father was planning to enjoy a 5-star beach vacation on his dime while he slaved away for work. We didn't even have a weekend getaway in the last 2 years. We had to miss countless invitations just because my husband couldn't get out of work. I canceled my own plans to go on a vacation because I felt bad for leaving my husband when he was literally slaving away at work without respite. He does get paid a lot, which is why he would never quit. The least I could do is be there for him and show solidarity. Anyway, David was right in assuming that we wouldn't have agreed to give him money if he had told us the truth about why he was taking the money. He is kind of making that out to be our fault too, since he says that we are the reason he lied, but I don't think anyone in their right mind would give away $30,000 to anyone just for a vacation. We're not millionaires. What the hell? I don't even know why I doubted my actions because of David's words. This is just ridiculous. Eric and I actually went through all of the comments and realized that just knowing we are right isn't going to cut it. It's high time we permanently distance ourselves from David and his family. I would like to say here that his new wife and her kids are lovely. We haven't known Kate for long, but we can tell that she is a decent person. Can't say for sure if she was aware of what David was doing. From David's words, it seems like he didn't give her any details because it was supposed to be a surprise vacation and family bonding time. I don't know how she feels now that she knows that David was splurging on someone else's money. Guess we wouldn't know because we are going no contact with David for good. We are done with his exploiting nature and have allowed him to take advantage of us for so long. Yes, we had distanced ourselves from him, but clearly he doesn't understand that he can't stop taking advantage of us since we are not close anymore. Going no contact is the only way for us to get things through his thick head. I have to thank you guys for helping us make this decision. It's sort of hard cutting off parents because, filial responsibility and all, but toxic and manipulative parents like David don't deserve to reap the benefits of filial responsibility. And yes, once my husband is able to get off work, we will take a nice vacation to reward ourselves. We are probably going to book ourselves a vacation in Cancun just to get back at David. Update 2. Hi guys. There have been some developments in my ongoing problem, so I thought, why not share it here? I mean, I do need someone to help me through this mess. As you already know, my husband is super busy and going crazy with work, so I can't really pick his brain on the matter. He is stressed enough as it is, so guys, please help me out with this matter. My husband and I have gone no contact with David as we had decided. I have already mentioned that in the last update. We had really made up our minds and had informed David of our decision. We also told him that going forward we won't be providing any kind of help except for medical emergencies. Even then, we won't be shelling out money unless we see for ourselves that someone is in the hospital and needs help. Some people may think that we are being petty, but this is the only way to make sure David doesn't exploit us again. We are extremely fed up with him now. We also made sure to tell him that we take back our offer to help him with house repairs. If his house actually becomes unlivable, it will be completely his responsibility to make the necessary changes. We had been generous enough to help with repairs once, but he ended up fooling us and using the money for other things, so he has lost the chance to ask us for help again. Eric and I actually wrote a long email about all this and sent it to David. He was probably expecting us to fold and apologize, but we retaliated in a way he didn't see coming. I really don't know why he thought he could continue to exploit us without consequences. He was extremely offended and furious at the email we sent, and hasn't been taking the no-contact rule well at all. I know for a fact that he doesn't care whether we talk to him or not. He has a new family and has already shown us that they take priority over us. So, contact is not the thing he's worried about, no matter what he says. He's just furious that he lost his cash cow. He has been leaving us messages about how we were being mean and abandoning him for one mistake. He sent us some really accusatory stuff about being jealous of his new family, getting back at him for marrying someone and moving on after his mother-in-law's death. That's a bunch of bullcrap, because it's not true. He's just trying to manipulate us. All this is making us even angrier than before. Now, the thing that's making me a little uneasy is that David's wife, Kate, has been asking to meet up with me and Eric. I know for a fact that Eric won't be able to make time for this meeting, but I do have the time and energy to do it. However, whether or not I actually want to meet up with Kate is a different issue altogether. She hasn't said much to me other than to just meet up so that we could talk. I haven't replied to her yet. Eric says that I can tell her whatever I want to because he knows he wouldn't be able to make it to the meeting. I am a little conflicted about what to do. I don't want to hear her defend her piece of crap husband or tell me that we are overreacting by cutting David off. However, a part of me wants to meet up with her and find out what she wants to tell me. This is becoming a great dilemma for me, so I would really appreciate it if you guys could help me out with it. Update 3. Hi guys, I'm back with an update. Since you guys are helping me so much and have even become sort of my friend, I think I owe it to you to inform you of what's going down in my life. Don't worry. I won't deviate and tell you about my personal struggles and all. Things will be strictly about my father-in-law and the problem I told you in the original post. I can't believe I'm still making updates on this because I really didn't think that new information would come to light and there would be more drama to deal with. Anyway, I have to thank you guys for encouraging me to meet up with Kate. You guys pointed out that Kate has never really been mean to me, so maybe I should give her the benefit of the doubt. Like I said, I knew that she wasn't a part of this plan and probably knew it after landing in Cancun, so I needed to give her a free pass. Actually, since I hadn't replied to her text in 2 days, she sent me a follow-up call, basically begging me to meet up with her. She said that she needed to discuss stuff about David, and I'm the only one who can answer. She did want Eric to come as well, but we all know that's next to impossible right now. Thankfully, his project is wrapping up in a month, and finally he will be able to take time and breathe like a normal person. Some of you asked what he does. Well, I don't want to give too much detail, but he's employed by one of the biggest construction companies in the country. He has a lot of responsibility on his head. Okay, now back to what happened. I thought about things a lot and agreed to meet up with Kate. As far as I knew, Kate hadn't done me wrong, so there was no reason for me to be hostile towards her. Besides, she did kind of sound desperate when she was on the phone. Now I know why. So when we met up, I sort of apologized to her for whatever trouble she had to go through because of what I did. Again, she has become collateral, and I accept that she requires an apology from me. Kate wasn't mad at me or anything, unlike I had feared. She had not come to talk about how we were being cruel and should forgive David. Instead, she kept asking me some questions about why we had lent David money. I was a little confused, but I explained that David had asked us for help with the house because it was in poor condition. I expected that we thought he was going to use the money for the house. Kate somehow got even more confused at that and asked me why David was asking me for money, since he had plenty of money of his own. And that's when alarm bells rang in my head, and I told her to explain why she thought David was made of money, and her answer blew me away. David had grossly overestimated his net worth and told Kate lies about how much he earned. He is a spendthrift, so people who don't know him would think that he has a lot of money since he spends so much. David had told Kate that he was financially well off and even lied about his position at the job he worked at. Kate knew nothing about David's poor financial condition. Alarm bells rang in her head only after I had cancelled the trip. David had always told Kate that he would take her and her kids to a family vacation after getting married. When they reached Cancun and the hotel denied their booking, Kate started asking questions. David, in panic, let it slip that Eric and I had cancelled the reservation because he had used our card for the bookings. They somehow managed to find money for plane tickets and fly back, but this whole thing kept eating away at her. David wouldn't tell her what was going on, so her only solution was to try and find things out from me. She said that she had no idea that David was in such deep financial mess. He had told her that he wasn't repairing the house because he had planned to sell it and move to a better place. He actually took her house hunting to see houses in the $500,000 range. I felt horrible when I heard all this. David was never going to sell the house. With his bad credit, no one would give him a loan. As for the house, no one will give him a lot of money for it because of the condition it was in. David had led this poor woman on and duped her into marrying him. It was just awful all around. Kate had a hard time listening to the reality of her situation. We had a long talk, and I even showed her messages between David and me and Eric. We have a group chat. She believed me but felt stupid for believing David for so long. She left after thanking me for telling her the truth and opening her eyes. All this happened yesterday, and now David is blowing up my phone, telling me that I'm a nasty and evil woman. I don't think their marriage will survive, but we will have to wait and see what happens. Update 4. Hi guys, I'm so sorry that I kept you guys waiting for this update. I got a little busy with life and sort of forgot to come back here. I take full responsibility for my actions and sincerely apologize for it. I actually just got back from our vacation in Mexico. Yeah, we did that. Cancun and Cabo had always been on our bucket list for a while, and we were finally able to tick that off. My husband now has better working hours and doesn't look like a mummy every time he comes home from work. So stuff is good on this end. Now, as you know, I had previously said that I exposed David to his new wife, and she wasn't thrilled about what she had learned. Long story short, she left him. After going home, the two of them had a major argument where David kept making excuses for his lies. He even sent me some really nasty messages calling me a nasty home wrecker for exposing him. Yeah, the man absolutely has no shame. His own son has been super disgusted with his actions. I don't know why he lied or anything, but I do have a theory about it. I think he just wanted another cash cow because we had stopped giving him money without proper causes. Maybe he thought that he would get away with it until the year was up. After that, they would have had to get a divorce and Kate would end up with his debts as well. That's just a theory I have, so I can't say for sure. What I can say is that Kate made the wise decision of walking away. She didn't even need to get a divorce because an annulment could be done given the circumstances. Lying about finances is a valid ground for annulment, and they haven't been married for a year, so the process was super smooth. David had tried his best not to let the divorce happen, but Kate was smart enough to hire a good lawyer and get him out of her life. As of now, Kate and her kids have gone no contact with David. How do I know this? 2 reasons. Kate and I are sort of friends now, so she keeps me updated, and David has been sending me and Eric some interesting messages after the annulment was finalized. Suddenly he realized that he had behaved badly with us and had done us wrong. He asked for forgiveness and lamented about how alone and broke he was. We didn't help him with lawyer money, by the way. He did ask, but we never responded because of the no contact order. David tried his best to reconnect with us and even showed up at our house. I threatened him with the cops, so he didn't try that more than once. As of now, he is blocked on both mine and Eric's phones. Last message was received from him and said that he was desperate for money, and if we didn't help him, he would have to sell the house and become homeless. Again, the house is in poor condition and won't bring a lot of money. If only he had actually spent the $30,000 on home repairs. Anyway, we don't know what he did with the house and how he is managing his life now. We're just moving past everything, especially because I'm pregnant, so Eric and I will have our hands full for a while now. And that's how this matter ended. This is going to be my last update, so thank you guys so much for chiming in and helping me along the way. I will consider myself lucky if I don't have to post here. Stay tuned for more stories from our girl relationships.